be able to share a recording, and we will be able to answer questions if you put them in chat.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Me and Austin, the owners of Blue Apple Marketing, we also operate as attractions marketing pros. We have a few different things we are doing. One is we have a podcast. It's called Attractions Insights Podcast. And if you own any attraction, escape room, external place, family entertainment center, trampoline park, or anything in between, I'll be happy to interview you at our podcast, and we're going to post it online, and we're going to give you a media package where we're going to do a shorts, we're going to do a long format video, so you can share it with your audience. Not only that, for SEO for your website and to do some exposure for you personally, we're going to create a personal page for you on our attractionsinsights.com, and we're going to post there as well. It will help you to get some exposure. Also, we're starting doing America's Best Attractions Roadshow. This is to give exposure to your business. We're going to visit your attraction and we're going to feature it. So we're going to bring a camera person, we're going to do pictures, videos, and it's going to be a cool episode. Usually it's like between 8 and 10 minutes episode about your attraction. It's going to go to YouTube, to our social media, and we're going to post you on our directory. It's americasbestattractions.com, and you're going to do a backlink to your website. In the future, probably we're going to start charging once we're going to have hundreds of episodes, but as of right now, it's a great opportunity for you guys to join and participate for free.
You do scan these QR codes, you have the ability to do a sign up for the podcast, and you have the ability to sign up for the roadshow or show interest for the roadshow, in which you'll be added to that wait list.
Another thing we start doing, we're building Marketing Academy. This is a resources that we're sharing for you, which you can implement, do it yourself, to help you with your SEO, to give you ideas how to do influencer marketing. We have there some other very cool tools. It's all free for you. I'll also put a link in a chat here. Feel free to join. Feel free to explore. Right now, there is 8 or 9 different pieces you can download and you can watch and you can learn. But we're going to be building on more and more. And if you join now, it's all free. You don't have to pay for anything. And you can be just in our circle of our Marketing Academy. I think it's a great resource for you.
Yep, absolutely. Let's go ahead and go over AI SEO. So as Dimitra is already mentioning, so we own Blue Apple Launchpad and Attractions Marketing Pros. And essentially, we're doing a lot of SEO all the time for all of our clients. And these are the most recent things that we've come upon for the AI search side of things. Today will be somewhat interactive. I will have you put numbers in the chat and such as we're going along. And we're going to start by going over the agenda. First, we're going to go over traditional SEO so we can have a context to understand AI SEO. We're going to be doing a 10-point SEO AEO score for all of your websites and businesses. When you interact with us live, you're going to be able to see that. And then at the end, we're going to offer like a free SEO audit so you can have us do it for you and strategize with it on a call. To get started, who is actively doing SEO? And either you are doing it yourself or you have someone else doing it for you. Go ahead and put a 1 in the chat if you have someone doing SEO for you or you are actively doing it yourself. Nice, excellent. Good, lots of 1s. So you get 1 point. This is going to be the first point in your self SEO audit. So going on from there, at the end of this, we're going to tally up our points and see how many points you get out of the SEO audit. So starting off, what are the key factors of traditional SEO? We have 3 primary factors, and those are technical site structure, quality content, and linking. And whether linking is internal linking, citations, or backlinking, all of them come into play. Those are the key factors. Now, the first thing in regards to technical site structure and technical SEO is going to be how fast your site is. Like, super important. This is the second part of our audit here. So everyone go in and scan this QR code right there, or if you want to type in the URL, you can, but it's probably easier to scan the QR code. Scan the QR code, put in your website URL, and what we want to look at is your first contentful paint. So this is the time it takes for your website to load, like the first snapshot of your website to load. We want this to be under 3 seconds, especially now as sites are more modern. If it's over 3 seconds, Google is not going to look at that kindly. 3 seconds FCP. If you have an FCP that is under 3 seconds, let's say you put your site in there already. If you have an FCP that's under 3 seconds, go ahead and put another 1 in the chat. And this gives you another point on your SEO audit. Just give them a little bit of time there. Nice. I like it. Good stuff. Okay, so yeah, continue on with that. We're just going to move on, but make sure you do that audit right now. Check your site speed. Going over technical site structure. What does this mean? What's technical site structures? First, we want to be eliminating any broken links. This could be 404 errors. This could be broken 301 redirects. Anything like that. Anything that's not working on your site is basically like the front of your site or the front door to your business. If it's locked, that's essentially a broken link to your website. Someone clicks on a link, they try to go to your website, they try to buy something, and it doesn't work. And most likely, they'll just bounce if they think your website's not working, and they may or may not call you. They will likely just go to your competitor's site. So obviously, that's super important. Second is improving site speed. So there are many different ways to improve site speed, but just broad overview. Image compression, making sure all the images are compressed so that they load quickly, and also pulling off the information on the back of the images so that there's not a lot more image to load, so to speak. So, there's sometimes like latitude and longitude on the back end of those images and other camera information on the back of the images. We can pull all this off so the image loads quicker. JavaScript lazy loads, basically loading code that is loaded later on instead of loading it right away when the site is loading. So it loads quicker. It doesn't load the stuff that doesn't need to be loaded right away. And then light boxes. If you have videos on your website, you can link them out instead of having them actually embedded in your site. So you don't have to load entire videos when the initial page is loading. Those are some like broad overview site speed changes. You can also add in some plugins that help you with lazy loads and image compression and such. But that would be site speed. Second is schema and robots.txt files. When you think of schema and when you think of robots.txt, schema is essentially telling Google what pages are about and telling Google what are the primary things that they should be reading off those pages, like the primary piece of content. Robots.txt is basically a map of your entire site, and same idea. When Google gets to your site, it's going to crawl it, and the robots.txt file will tell Google what the site is about in a quick way. So that's the basics there. Secondly is canonical. There are two versions of your site. One is your www version, and one is your non-www version. Google needs to know which one you want to use as your primary site. If it's not noted, Google will crawl both, and it'll basically confuse Google, like, okay, what site should I actually be ranking? Setting up canonical is important. That's the broad overview of technical site structure in regards to traditional SEO. Going on from there, we have quality content. Quality content can be distributed in two different ways, or how we like to think about it is two different ways. One are pillar pages. These pages are the primary pages of your site. And we could think of these as, let's say there's the home page, there's the About Us page, there's a Contact Us page, there's the Book Now page, etc. We wouldn't count those as pillar pages. Those are just the primary pages. But the pillar pages would be under like events, where it talks about birthday parties, corporate events, bachelorette parties, school field trip ideas. These are called your money pages or your pillar pages. These are your primary topics and primary services that you provide. We have those pillar pages. After we have complete and qualified content on the pillar pages, that is when we'd want to start writing blog pages. Blog pages are going to be long tail, tertiary keywords that will relate to other places on your website, but they wouldn't make sense on your main website. Let's use some examples. Best birthday parties in Atlanta would be a great pillar page like title, right? And you could have that ranked there. Now, you could make a tertiary blog which talks about best 14-year-old birthday party ideas, and you can link that back to your pillar page of best birthday party idea in Atlanta, right? And that's where the blogs come into play. So blogs don't come into play until you already have the base of your website written well with quality content, and you're able to add in tertiary keywords that relate to your pillar pages. Those are the two primary places that you'll write content. On that note, when in your content, you want it to be answering the query the best. So it's not always necessarily the largest amount of content. It's primarily how well does it answer the query from Google, and how does it answer the query better than your competitor. That's how you're going to rank higher. In the chat, if you have pillar pages, go ahead and put a 1 there. If you do, you once again get a point for your audit. And do you have a blog on your website? That's the second way you can get a point. So there's 2. This is the threefer. And then 3, when was the last time a blog was written? Have you written a blog in the last 30 days? That's the third way you get a point. So you get 3 points from this slide. So pillar pages, blogs, and if you have written a blog in the last 30 days. Nice job. I'm seeing a lot of you guys put that in there. Next, we have linking. Probably the most straightforward way of linking is thinking about how everything relates to the other places of your site. How do blogs relate to pillar pages? How does your homepage relate to your pillar page or other pages of your site? You can think about the pillar page as the hub of a wheel, and you can think about blog content as spokes to a wheel. You have your birthday party pillar page, and if you internally link it to 10 different blogs, each talking about different birthday party ideas, then it makes sense to Google as everything is related. And then you maybe somewhere at the bottom of your homepage, it says, we are great for corporate events, birthday parties, etc., bachelorette parties. That little blurb will also internally link back to your birthday party pillar page, and your birthday party pillar page links back to your 10 birthday party blogs, and that's the web, so to speak, that Google can see context. So that's the first thing, internally linking. Easy to do, you're just linking pages that make sense together. Second, citations. These are local directories where your website is listed, and essentially you're listing your name, address, and phone number across the web. This allows Google to know that you're a legit business, especially in the local environment, and sees that you're listed in multiple places to know that you're a real business, essentially. So that's citations and directories. Backlinks are different ways that authoritative sites link back to your site in order to show that you do have an authoritative site about a certain topic. Let's use guest posting, for instance. Guest posting would be where you send an email or you connect with some website that has a high domain ranking or domain rating. And essentially a domain rating is showing how strong your site is on Google, how many links are going to that site, how quality the content is, how fast the site is. All those positive things will relate to Google, and Google will give it a domain rating. Domain ratings are primarily used for different SEO tools. So they can differ on different SEO tools, but the general idea is that the website is stronger with more links. But back to guest postings. You find websites with high domain ratings and you offer to write them content. You write content on their page, and in that content, you link back to your website with a certain anchor text that is related to whatever page you want to link back to. So let's say you write a guest post about, we'll stay on birthday parties, best pirate ship escape room birthday party ideas in Georgia, right? And then in that text and that blog or that guest post that you wrote for them, you'll have one little link which says best birthday party ideas in Georgia. That will link back to your main website, and you get that backlink because you did a guest post. The other way to do it is niche edits, in which there may be great content already written somewhere, and someone will link back to your website from that content, make a little blurb about your site, or reference your site from that content. Another way is our press releases. When you have something new coming up, you have a new release, or maybe every quarter you have something going on, you will write a press release, send it to news organizations, and they will link back to your site as well, once again giving you authority. Those are some easy ways to get backlinks and basically make your site more authoritative. The more backlinks that go to your site, the stronger your site will look to Google, the higher it will rank. Who has added a backlink to their site in the last 30 days, or done a press release, or added citations? And you only get one for this one, but put a 1 in the chat if you've added any one of those 3 things in the last 30 days. Fantastic. I like it. Cool. Awesome. So that's traditional SEO in a nutshell. And if we're thinking, okay, so we know that, and maybe I know some people in the chat, you're really familiar with traditional SEO. That's why I like to explain it first. Now let's use that as context for understanding AI SEO. Same idea. We're going to talk about technical site structure. Most of the context of AI SEO and traditional SEO are pretty similar in regards to technical site structure. Obviously, you need a good site. It needs to be fast. You need to have links working, canonical working, all that. Those are the basics. The main difference with AI SEO versus traditional SEO is the schema and the TXT files. For AI SEO, it is very beneficial to have FAQ schema, blog schema, and article schema on your pages. And AI tends to pick those up better than other types of schema. And secondly, LLM's TXT files. So just like robots TXT, there are TXT files just for LLMs. And when an LLM starts crawling your site, you want to point it to the stuff that you want it to read, not just everything, and have it make its own assumption of what's going on. So if you have LLM's TXT, it can pull that information that's in the LLM's TXT as opposed to just crawling everything. Not that it won't crawl everything, but it'll focus on the LLM's TXT. So those are the main differences on the technical side. You want more FAQ blog and article schema, and you want to make sure you have LLM's TXT files, LLM's TXT file along with the robots TXT file. Those are the main differences. Everything else stays consistent. Here's the question. Once again, you get another point. Do you have an LLM's TXT file on your site? I'm waiting for a one in the chat. If you do, you'll get a point, and I'll be impressed. All right. So that's something that we can add. Let's go over content in regards to traditional versus AI SEO. The first thing is pillar pages. On those pillar pages, you want to have FAQs, Q&As, and buyer decision questions, or BDQs, in the content. The reason why is when AI is reading content, it's referencing common questions that people will ask in order to create like a summary for the answer and the reference that's going to give the person searching in an LLM. Let's say right now on a pillar page, maybe you have one FAQ or Q&A spot on your site, but you probably don't have a Q&A on every single page of your site. That would be something to add. Now, every single page of your site should have some type of Q&A at the bottom that talks about the specific context. So maybe on your bachelorette party idea, you just have basic booking. You don't really have any FAQs about how that's going to go down, but now you should, because AI is going to reference that. And then same thing with buyer decision questions. These are all the questions that people would have before they make a purchase. And especially online, people will have questions before they purchase online, and you want to be able to answer those for them. Second are the way you write blogs. A lot of blogs right now are, in the traditional sense, are written like top 10 Toronto birthday party ideas. It's just a statement. It's very declarative. The AI tends to read blogs that are more question-based. What are the top 10 Toronto-based birthday parties that have pizza or that serve pizza? They're more specific, and it's basically taking content that's asking questions like a human would ask questions. If we think about searches in regular, like Google search, the queries are normally around 3 words, and I'm trying to remember the exact amount that was researched for AI, but it's something like 8 words is the average for AI. What that means is people are being more specific, like more long tail with how they're asking questions in AI. And when you are typing into AI, it's more question based. It's literally like human to human asking questions. In Google search, it's more like escape room near me. It's not asking a question. But when you're typing in AI, it's more question based. Those are the two big differences. Really, question based blogs, you can think about 2 different things. One is, how do you figure out what type of blog content to write? Well, literally just go into AI and ask it, what are the most common questions that people are asking about this topic? And you have, 10 different pieces of blog contents right there. And that makes it easy. The other way, it's like doing research in, one of the SEO tools to see what the most common keywords are, and you're writing content about those keywords. Well, you can do the same thing in AI, but you're just going to ask the questions that are being asked, and you can write content about those questions. Now, of course, you still want to write content for regular Google search, because that's still happening like crazy. But this is just another way to write blogs. So maybe you do some question-based blogs, and then maybe you do some non-question-based blogs as well, and then you have the complement. Also, adding FAQs to your blogs at the bottom and BDQs at the bottom will help that rank better as well. My question for you is, do you have FAQs on your pillar pages right now, or do you have FAQs on your blogs? If you do, put a 1 in the chat and add it to your tally.
And Austin, so Carlene is asking, so you were saying a FAQ on each of the pillar pages is instead of single FAQ page with all the questions. Is that correct?
Yes. So if you want certain pages to rank on AI SEO, you want it to be able to reference that, basically that page, and you want it to be able to have the question answers. On your main FAQ page, are you answering every single question that someone may have about every single one of your services? You could probably get more in depth, right? And let's use an example. On the birthday party side, on your main FAQ page, you might have 10 different things about your birthday parties that you wouldn't want to put on your FAQ page. Your main FAQ page could have 50 different FAQs. That's too much. But if you spread it out across multiple pages and become more in depth with how you're answering questions on each of those individual pillar pages, 1, you'll be able to answer queries better, which is the whole point. And 2, it won't be too much on your actual FAQ page. It's becoming more and more detailed about how you're answering questions, and also about how people would actually interact with you in person, essentially asking these questions. A lot of the times there's a broad overview of FAQs on a site, but it could be much more detailed if you're thinking about the specific service category, right? 10 FAQs on birthdays, 10 FAQs on bachelorette parties, 10 on school field trips. And that tends to help a whole lot. If we're talking about, we'll just use that as the contextual example, if that makes sense. Nice. I see someone does have FAQs on their blogs and pillar pages. And if we're thinking about blogs, right, we know the basic blogs, but FAQs on blogs, there are very few times that blogs do have FAQs at the bottom, but you can add FAQs about your business or even more about that topic, and AI will pull from that. On your blogs, you're going to have that schema, the blog schema or FAQ schema there, which will also tell the LLMs to pull from there. That is content. How is AI using this content and using it in search? Well, in traditional search, of course, it is pulling just the straight links and it's linking you to the answer. In AI, it is pulling all the information together, summarizing it, and referencing each one to make the answer. It is going to reference anywhere that you're at on the web. Your Reddit, of course, your GPP, social profiles, YouTube, press releases, which is why they're great for AI as well. Basically, anywhere that you're mentioned, it's going to pull from. Now, this is a great thing because if you're everywhere on the web, even in social media or an influencer post or anything like that, it's going to pull from that, and AI is going to show it. Also, if you have a lot of great Google reviews, AI is going to use that contextually to summarize it and put that in the summary as well. So it's all about being referenced. That's what AI is doing. It's taking the top 20 or 30 different sites it can find, taking all that information, summarizing it, and giving you the best answer for that specific place. With that being said, how can you kind of get around this? Well, obviously you want to be posting everywhere, being everywhere. Doing press releases are a great way to pop up right away in AI, because if you do, this is the best escape room in January for X escape room or something like that. Guess what? AI doesn't know the context around who wrote that or why it was written. So you can be pulled in right away. Like, this is the best escape room talked about in January, because you control the context. It's going to pull the summary from everywhere. The question for you all is, are you mentioned on Reddit anywhere? If you are, you get a point.
And if you don't know if you actually mentioned, it's probably worth exploring. So go to the Reddit, enter your name, company name, and
Yep.
see if there is any mentions.
Yep. Yeah, the way I found out that we were being mentioned on Reddit is I did an AI search and it was referencing Reddit threads. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Very cool. That's basically the context of AI in regards to traditional, and that's the contextual comparison. Let's look at our score here. Put your score in the chat. What did you get in your score? If you got, around 8, you're doing pretty good on your SEO. Okay, sounds good, Joe. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Yeah, so if you got 3, you got some strong stuff going. And the idea behind it is, if you could have all of these, you're definitely going in the right direction for sure. So moving on from here, scrolling down here, if we're thinking about, hey, how can I audit my own site? Well, technically, these are the audit softwares. There are many, but these are like the basic ones. Of course, PageSpeed, you already know that one, right? You can use that. Ahrefs, SEMrush. If you're doing an AI summary in Ahrefs, they make you upgrade. So it'll basically make you pay $229 a month, and then you can do the same thing in SEMrush. Overall, if you're doing your own summary on your site, so it would cost you probably around $428 a month to be doing good audits on your site on a monthly basis, and probably about 4 hours of your time, unless you're super comfortable with doing all this, you understand all the softwares and all that. But good news, if you book a call with us on this call, we will do the audit for you for free. You can save $428 and 4 hours of your time, and also we'll go on we'll get on a strategy call with you, go over your site, go over the SEO audit and AEO audit, and basically see what would be the best things for you to do, right? And the next steps. If you would like to take us up on this, it is only in this call, because I'm in calls 8 to 10 hours a day already, so I only have so many spots. But yeah, if you book here, we'll just go over your site, look at it together, and see what we can do. In the meantime, nice job. We got an 8. Very nice, very nice. In the meantime, while everyone's scanning that QR code, any questions in the chat? Go ahead and throw some questions in there.
And I see there is note, I'm not the one working on our SEO. So that's totally fine. As long as somebody working for you and doing this job, that's perfect.
Yeah, 100%. Awesome. Any questions, go and throw them in the chat. Also, as you saw, Dimitri added the resource link up above. So if you go on there, we also have resources for SEO. We'll have these recordings in there. I believe we have some like ad calculators in there, which are super cool. And our influencer manual, it's almost 100 pages, which is also really cool. So go in there, check it out. And you can find lots of great resources to either do it yourself. If you want to save time, you can obviously um, uh, have us help you as well. How often are the AI ranking rules changing? Like Google shifts from time to time. They're changing all the time right now. And this is somewhat of a new area. So we have the general idea about how everything's working, but it's changing continuously and it's going to keep changing. And I just saw this thing on AI about how they're moonlighting, or they're starting to put out ads. Right now, it's in beta test, but that's going to be a whole new game of AI ads, right? And that'll probably affect the search in there as well. So it's changing all the time. In comparison to regular SEO, it makes sense like how it's working. So if you can just get down those basics and have that working, the rest of this, as new things come out, you can just keep adding those in. But it is obviously changing as probably just as quickly as AI is in general, which is pretty crazy. So, yeah, good question. And the Attractions Insight podcast link Dimitri just dropped in there. You can go there and sign up for a podcast. If you've done anything creative, you'll be a perfect guest for this podcast. Or if you have a cool entertainment concept, we always love to talk to entrepreneurs who have concepts. And then what was the other question? So it said, also, we are doing much better on Chat GPT than others. Is there a reason for that? And anyone to shoot for? I think probably the reason why you're doing better on Chat GPT is you're being referenced more than other places. So you're likely mentioned in other places more than other people. Also, if you have the LLMs TXT on your site and such, you're probably being referenced more as well. So that's fantastic. That's a great positive.
Another reason, probably you have good SEO base on your website already, and that helps as well, because a lot of people I know haven't been paying attention to SEO. They've been dumping all of their resources on paid ads because you see the results immediately, and some people just neglect SEO aspect of the website. But now it actually shows up that SEO becomes more and more valuable, especially with this new era of AI.
Yeah. As we talked about traditional SEO, all that matters. And then stacking those little things of AI SEO along on top of it will make your site work great. But if someone doesn't already have AI, just regular SEO done, you're already way behind the eight ball, so to speak.
And I'm dropping some resources there, guys, for you in the chat. If you're following, just click and follow us. Austin mentioned I posted there about podcast. It's good even if you don't have a big facility or something crazy. It's good for you to get exposure because this is what you want. You want to build an authority in a local market. You want to present yourself, talk about your business, showcase your experiences, because all of us have our unique experiences through life, because we've been owners, we've been running the businesses and experienced some crazy and unique stories that worth sharing sometimes. So it's good opportunity for you to speak up and talk and share with the audience who you really are. And then I shared there another resource, America's Best Attractions. So this is again where you can showcase your business, and we'll come out and do episode on your business. Same great resource, because we're going to list it on our directory, americasbestattractions.com. You get a backlink to your website, which is going to help you with SEO. Same thing with Attractions Insight podcast. You're going to get a backlink to your website, and it's going to also help you with SEO. So it's all about building this credibility, getting exposed so more people can find you, more people can read about you and watch more stuff about you and your business.
So another question, does Gemini require different methods? So there are different models, but in regards to the actual methods, AI is going to be pulling reference of a summary of the references. I think the general idea for AI works the same across multiple models. At least at this point, I don't know if it requires something specifically different. I haven't heard of that yet. And then we have a competitor who's adding 400 blogs a month. That is a lot of blogs. And essentially, adding more content to your site couldn't hurt as long as it's quality content. That's a lot of blogs every month. And if they're writing the blogs in context to the questions, right, as we talked about, then absolutely it would help like crazy, because you can answer so many in-depth questions that wouldn't be able to be answered if it wasn't on your site otherwise. So yes, it's positive.
There should be a strategy. If they're working with somebody who built a strategy behind it, then it's good. But this volume tells me a few things. They probably use a lot of AI generated kind of things, and it can backfire if it's not done strategically, because there's a thing called cannibalization, where they just start fighting because they cover same topics, and a lot of times it might be a problem. We usually don't do that many blogs. We do quality versus quantity. It might be dangerous for them, but again, it depends. If they really have a big company and they have a huge budget, because in reality, good blog costs money to create. You want to have a human touch. You want to have somebody writing it on specific topic, and then backlinking on other pages on your website, and then external linking. So there's a lot of strategy involved. It's not just like, hey, let me post something. How many words is each blog? And yeah, there is a lot of involved. Don't be discouraged that they pump in so much on it. I would be more consistent with it rather than doing like 400 blogs for the next 3 months and then stop for a year. I would rather do much smaller amount of blogs but consistently. That's what Google and that's what AI likes: consistency.
Yeah, yeah. And with AI content, it's really easy to put out tons of blogs with AI content, but Google will penalize you. And so I would make sure that if you are using any AI to help write content, it's passing human written tests and such. On the note of having a competitor making all those blogs, it probably is not quality because that's a tremendous amount of blogs. So that's at least what I'm thinking. If you guys have any questions, let us know. Look forward to seeing you on the strategy call. I think I saw multiple people book there, which is awesome. We'll go over that stuff. Hop into the resources page, download everything that you can, read through all of that, and hop on the podcast with Dimitri, share your story, inspire people.
Good job for joining this call, because I can tell you that the fact that you're here, it already puts you ahead of so many other people who is not doing actions, who is not working on their website, who is not working on improving all the time. So congratulations for being here, because you're one of the few who's doing these steps and dedicating time to learn and implement. So great job. If you know anyone else who might benefit from this kind of sessions, please let them know, let them sign up for our next session. We're looking forward to help you guys to grow. And if you have any questions, feel free always to reach out to us, because if you don't know, I am more on a business development side. We partners with Austin, and Austin more on the marketing side. So he runs our agency on day-to-day operations. But we have 15 different locations in 5 different states at different attractions. And if you have questions how to operate, how to hire, how to fire, questions about technology and resources and tools to use for your attraction, feel free to reach out to us on our social networks and email and phone number. We are here to help, because better you're doing, it makes our life easier to help you to market. If your business is doing good, it's easier for us to help you to get even better results.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, everyone. We will talk to you on the next call.